bringing out our panelists for a conversation with IGN's Eric Goldman. We'll also have plenty of time for your questions, so please get them ready. Throughout today's panel, please share your thoughts, photos, videos on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, of course using the hashtag WBSDCC, so that we can follow along on the conversation. After today's panel, be sure to stop by the Warner Brothers booth, where you can pick up the exclusive Warner Brothers themed TV Guide Comic-Con issue. There's 4 collector editions. Inside you'll find lots of stories and interviews, including several features on The 100. And finally, as you're waiting for the new season to begin, please be sure to catch up on all the previous seasons, including season 4, available now on DVD and digital HD from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. Are you guys ready? So let's get started. Roll the reel.
Clark, tell me the story.
I'm tired, Maddie. Why don't you tell it to me this time?
Me? Really? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a castle in the sky. The people who lived there were scared of the ground below. But the castle was dying, so they decided to send the bad children down to the scary place to see if they could survive. In the beginning, there were 100 of them.
101, counting Bellamy.
101, right. Anyway, they were alone, with no parents, so they did whatever the hell they wanted. Then, the monsters came out.
They're not alone.
Some of them killed the children. Some took the children away to steal their homes. One even stole their minds. But the bad children fought them. And they realized that together, even bad children can do good things.
Who you are and where you need to be to survive are very different things.
They even began to see that some of the monsters were just like them.
This one feels into me. Here comes Echo.
This is our home now. We built this from nothing with our bare hands. We are grounders.
But when the parents came down to find their children, they did not understand this.
This land is ours now. Resist, and you will be greeted by death.
They just made things worse.
Jason Rothenberg. She plays Clark Griffin. Eliza Taylor. He plays Bellamy Blake. Please welcome Bob Hurley. She plays Octavia Blake. Please welcome Marie Abderopoulos. Raven Reyes is alive. Please welcome Lindsay Morgan. Please welcome the man who plays Murphy, Richard Harmon. He plays Monty. Please welcome Chris Larkin. And then we've got another executive producer, a frequent director on this series. Please welcome Dean White. So, let's start out, Jason, with that time jump. I mean, shows do time jumps sometimes, but 6 years is a big one. Why did you decide, let's do this now? I mean, we've talked before about the show actually was a pretty condensed time period for the characters. So now you're leaping forward. What did it feel like? Okay, let's do this now.
Well, we talked a lot last season about how the world would not be survivable for 5 years. And so, because I know these guys hated wearing hazmat suits, I figured let's jump ahead so they can come out without hazmat suits.
Thank you.
Actually, we should.
Thank you so much.
It's horrible.
And what can you say about that prisoner ship? Because that's a whole new element to add to the series at this point.
Well, without spoiling too much, the prison ship, they're from Earth. I think I've heard some speculation that maybe they weren't. And they're from our time, so they're from before the first apocalypse. which is a spoiler, but okay. And that means probably cryo. They were in hypersleep for 100 years. I think that was planted in certain episodes last year that they had that capability. So they've come back to this planet that they don't recognize, that it has been destroyed, and all that's left twice. And all that's left is this Garden of Eden that Clark's been living in with her daughter. And it will not be big enough for everybody.
So, Eliza, let's talk about Maddie, who's not her biological daughter.
No, let's bring that clear.
Yeah. But can you talk about what you think about the time jump when you heard they're doing it, and about this new character that's going to be so crucial to Clark?
Well, I've been playing an 18-year-old for 4 years, since I was 23. So it's kind of nice to be playing someone a little close to my age, because I don't know how much longer we were going to get away with that. And yeah, it's just, I think it's exciting to see, it will be to see us, like, me as like a 24-year-old woman who has gone through so much, and she's taking on this maternal role, looking after this little tiny nightblood.
Bob, when Clark thought she might not make it, which turned out to be the truth, she kind of was passing on leadership to him, to Bellamy. He had gone through a lot up prior to that. Did you think this was a challenge he has risen to in those 6 years?
I'd like to think that he has. I think that he has taken on the advice of the head and the heart. I mean, from what I've been told, I don't know that much either, so I guess from what Jason has told me, if he can be trusted, Bellamy has grown up a little bit, I think. But yeah, that 6-year time jump's kind of crazy because it's only 6 months for us, but we've got to figure out what they've done for the last 6 years and find those characters again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a reset sort of for all you guys. And Marie with Octavia, I mean, she was put in charge of a lot of people. And we saw in the finale the insecurities she had about that. And she was a character who was so much sort of on the fringe and literally had to hide for most of her life. What do you think it's been like for her to now be in the spotlight in this way after all the sort of I'm the one, not the one?
I think Octavia doesn't have a clue what she's doing, but she doesn't want to, set off the chaos with the 1,200 people in the bunker, because it was her idea to have one crew and have this mixed bag of clans. And of course, they're not wanting to let go of previous animosities that they have towards one another. So just similar to the way she was trapped under the floor in the Ark, the same thing is kind of going in the bunker, where you can't just run around and break the laws and cause riots. And in season 5, you'll see, in fact, what Octavia's plan is to keep the peace, and how she reprimands others in her own special way for stepping out of line.
Special way.
Special Octavia way.
It won't be a peaceful way, possibly. Lindsay, I feel like every season I say, Raven's been through a lot, but she has been. But now, I mean, we saw in that finale, how essential she was, just saving them, getting them off the planet. Do you think that in this situation they've been in all these years, that she sort of thrived? I mean, I would feel, it's a small group up there, but she would be a very key member of that group.
Duh, Eric. Raven is so special because she is so smart, and she, is a key ingredient, I feel, in the 100 mix and for their survival. But I think also, though Raven's so smart, her heart weighs on her a lot. The only reason why everyone is in space is because of Raven. Raven's like, I'm gonna kill myself. No, not like that. She was just like, more like, can someone come pick me up because I want to go to the bunker? And her friends are like, yeah, of course, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And oops, we're stuck now. What do we do? So I think Raven feels a lot of responsibility for everyone's well-being to be saved. And that's why, her taking them to space in the finale was so important for her. And now in space, it's a lot for her to make sure that everyone's survivable, and that we can hopefully get back down to the Earth once it's habitable again.
And Richard, you kind of like Octavia, Murphy was an outsider character for a long time. That started to change a lot last season. He was sort of making amends with Raven, right in the, come on. And then we saw him and Monty sort of try to work some stuff out. You know, do you think that...
This is how you decide that. Okay. This is really convenient.
I feel like that's a character that will especially be fascinating to see after those 6 years, because now he was with these people. Do you think that he might be really changed from all this?
100%. I mean, I think all of us have to change up there. Like you said, the 6-year jump is a great challenge, but it's also really freeing in a lot of ways, and kind of taking the shackles off of you of all the decisions you've made with the character over 6 years. I mean, a lot of therapy can happen in that time. So you can leave behind a lot of what you've been doing, or keep some of it if you want. But obviously he's going to change, because he's so good in kind of like the pressure cooker situations and thriving with his life on the line every day. And now in space, it's more so just living day to day and just making it to the time they can go back home. That's very different for him. So I'm curious to see if now that he has nothing to kind of like fight against, can he really just be part of a happy family? And I'm curious to see how that goes.
Is he bored?
He's a little bored.
Troublemaker?
Yeah, he's gonna find a way to have some fun.
You know, Chris, you know, it is funny when you think about the timeline of the show, because it was just a few months for the characters. So it's like, thinking that was a tough few months for Monty. Found out his dad died, had to shoot his possessed mom, his best friend died in his arms. You know,
what's your question?
Does it suck to be Monty? No, my question is actually about Harper and Monty, and just the fact that, you know, would that make that connection even stronger given sort of all the loss that he's gone through?
I think that Harper is Monty's main lifeline at the current moment, and has been for 6 years. I think, given the loss of Jasper, if he'd lost Harper as well, I'm not sure he would have made it out of Arcadia. So I think that he owes her his life, and she chose him, and I don't know what the result of the last 6 years has been. I hope they're still together, but even if they're not, I hope they at least gave it everything they had, because I think they deserve that. And who knows, maybe Monty and Murphy are together now. It's been 6 years. We can pray.
A lot could change in 6 years. Dean, this is such an ambitious show. You know, you look at the finale and how much it had going on. Is it just a continuing fun, but also crazy challenging thing to work on this series and to see how much they throw at you and how much they're doing within, you know, 44 minutes a week?
You guys haven't met him before, but this man is like very responsible, as well as Jason, for the kick-ass show that is The 100.
Yeah.
You guys all love, yeah?
So interesting. Carry on.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, for the budget that we have and the amount of time we have to shoot this show, we do some pretty incredible things. The scope of the show, and my nickname for Jason is Scopes, because that's what he does. He gives us this stuff. We look at it and go, there's no way we can do it. And then we always pull it off somehow. And I think that makes us better storytellers, because we've got to figure out ways to, you know, solve budget problems, solve time problems, come at it from a real storyteller's point of view.
You know, one episode that really stands out to me this past season, in the entire series actually, is Die All, Die Merrily, which is the Octavia and the Conclave episode. In typical 100 fashion, it was also pretty merciless. We lost a lot of notable characters. Jason, at what point developing season 4 did you know that you wanted to do that story, that episode?
Pretty early on. That was kind of, you know, every season we have these tentpole moments that we're aiming for. That was the big one of the big ones last year. It was written by Aaron Wade, Ginsberg and McIntyre, great writers. My number 2 is on the writing staff. And Dean directed the hell out of it. Really just, it's as good as we've got. You know? I mean, I think it was, everything came together. Marie was awesome. She really worked her ass off to get, probably more screen time than she's ever had. And, you know, when I look at that, I feel like we've done this now for 5 years. The team in Vancouver is amazing. Everybody's sort of, all the actors are dialed in. It's really fun to be working on a show now where we know what we're doing, we know, you know, what we can do, we know how far we can push, and I don't try to push too hard, Dean. No, Dean. Lie. It's my job. Like, to try to challenge everybody so, you know, we can have this sort of epic television show. So.
That episode was also sort of a key one for Echo, who I don't think anyone could have guessed where her path was going to go. Yeah. You talked about, you know, what you decided to do with her there and how things sort of changed for her there.
I think instead of me answering that, why don't we bring out a special guest, Tasia?
Tasia Tellis, who plays Echo, new series regular on the 100. Hello there, Tasia.
Hello there.
So yeah, let's. Obviously I don't know if you heard it because you guys were cheering. Tasia is now a series regular on the show. Echo, the girl in the cage in season 2. A lot has changed. What we think of her, what we know about her. What's it been like for you to kind of track her this entire way and see where she's gone?
Hello. It's been amazing. Every time we got a script, I was always nervous to explore more into Echo and give life to that character, because she was always a character that I felt really strongly about. She was sassy, she was cool. I loved it when she spat in Bellamy's face when they first met.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so good.
And we're gonna practice that one a few times.
What did Echo eat for breakfast?
That was years ago. I don't remember.
That's a meet cute.
You got one too. Octavia got one too this year.
I got the biggest loogie ever in the face from you. Yeah.
Who will spin in Bellamy's face in season 5?
Stay tuned.
But yeah, it's been incredible. It's been amazing.
I do want to ask more about Die Merrily and Marie. What was it like to do that episode? I know you like the physical aspect of the show, but they gave you a lot. Was it just, all right, I'm embracing this and going for it?
Couple things. It really made me realize, wow, I have my dream job. I may never do this again. My first job was McDonald's, cleaning up puke in the ball pit area of the playland. So I was like, yes, I've come a little bit of a long way. I gotta tell you about this. And then another thing was, on top of the, wonderful, stunt choreography I had to learn and all that stuff, it was just great because I felt like so many stories came together in Die Merrily. We had that wonderful Blake moment where Bellamy was rooting for Octavia when nobody else did. I thought that was completely wonderful. Then there was the ultimate betrayal. Sorry. At the end. It's like, you didn't do it in real life to me, or you always got my back as Eliza. It's just, I felt like so many storylines, came full circle there, and we lost a couple of wonderful characters that are greatly missed. Zach McGowan, and Nadia Hildgard. It's been a long day. It was a wonderful episode to be. I think it just was great television.
Marie, I think the other thing that people miss in that episode, because it was so action-packed and there was so many stunts, that it was a really emotional episode. The stuff between you and Bellamy was amazing. You and Ilian, he dies in your arms after he gets an arrow through the neck. Like, all of those scenes were so emotional. So you and everyone were carrying these physical scenes, but you also, I thought it was one of the most emotional episodes of the season.
Yeah. Cool.
Marie mentioned this, but that was also the episode, where Clark made a very big executive decision about sneaking Sky Crew into the bunker, and Bellamy was not very happy with the decision. For you guys, Eliza, Bob, it's like when you see these characters make these, there's no good decision. Do you have your own inner debate about, was she right? Was he right? Do you talk about that amongst yourselves?
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where how do I still make Clark likable in this situation? There were a lot of mad fans out there, but I don't know, you just kind of have to see it, through her perspective of just kind of thinking that she's doing the right thing. But that was a tough one. That was a really tough episode for us.
Yeah, I think that, Bellamy's made some pretty terrible decisions over the last 4 years, so I kind of just gotten used to that. I sometimes read the scripts and I just kind of facepalm. But you got to bring truth to the performance, and that's all you can really do, and not really think about how it's going to be received or whatnot.
Yeah.
But Bob, you really brought that character back. Like, when all the stuff happened between you and Pike and you went to the dark side and everyone was like, what is Bellamy doing? In season 4, I thought you brought that character back so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long road, but it's been a good journey for sure.
And to talk about that decision that Clark made at the end of Die Merrily, you know, in her mind, the world was coming to an end. And in that moment, she didn't, I mean, obviously she didn't give Octavia much of a chance. So yes, arguably that was a bad thing for her to do because she was wrong. But at the end of the day, Clark's whole journey last season was to save as many people as she could. And in that moment, all she could save were those people. They just so happened to be her people. So it wasn't as if she suddenly was doing things differently. Isaiah Jaha, who was also incredible this last season, you know, his whole thing has always been, yes, I'm just saving Sky Crew. I only care about Sky Crew. For a moment, their agendas were on the same path.
Yeah.
In the next episode, we find out Marie won and you know, did exactly what Clark would have wanted to do if she could wave her magic wand, and that's when she really felt bad about it.
Yeah, it felt pretty terrible.
She owes her one for that. Lindsay, I referenced this line when I introduced you, but yeah, this is Raven Reyes and I'm Alive. It's such a great moment on the show. You know, let's talk about that episode, the other side, which was, you know, another Raven Goes Through Hell episode. But what was it like to film that and that entire sequence in the water, crawling across the floor?
That episode, I feel like, you know, I'm so in love with this show because for my own selfish actor needs, because they're constantly challenge me very physically, emotionally, just acting purely. And that episode was a hell of an episode because I'm in this tank I have to be freezing to death and have these really emotional goodbyes with my figments of my imagination because I'm losing my mind. And then I kill myself, and then I resurrect it with an electric shock underwater and have a heart attack and throw myself over a tank and crawl to a defibrillator that's across the, you think I'd put it a little closer, across the room with small little stickers on it, stick it in the right place, and jolt my heart back to life because of my heart murmur. And then walk and talk to my friends. It was insane, but it was honestly like, Ian Cusick directed that one. He was with me every step of the way, and it was, you know, we did some really cool things to where I'm just on the, like I was coming back on the ground and he would walk me through this like imaginative story about what I'm going through in my mind, and it was kind of a surreal experience that I just feel like no other show I'm gonna be able to get to do that. Like, it's like it's a dream job. Like, when do you do that? Never! So it's been, I wouldn't call it hell. It's been heaven? In an actor way. Yeah, in a nerdy actor way.
That's certainly something that this cast goes through more than any cast really I've ever worked with. We do so much physical stuff on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of them do 80%, 90% of their own stunts, which is kind of amazing. The weather in Vancouver starts out really hot, and then it gets rainy, and then it gets snowy and cold, and we're out in it 14 hours a day. So, and never once. I mean, they're pros, and it's really been fun. Yeah.
I believe last year, sitting on this very stage, Richard and Chris, you know, there was a lot of talk, and other panels too, about lamenting that you two like never worked together. So what was it like to finally get to work together? And the fact is that, you know, your characters had to deal with some old issues because they hadn't been on screen together.
Yeah, I mean, the one time we'd been together before season 4 was I just tried to kill his best friend for, like, coughing.
Yeah.
Typical Murphy.
Standard.
Yeah, so of course I think that was where that was the one thing we had, so we had to play with that. And I'm pretty sure we forced Jason's hand with that one, but forcing us to have.
I'm so glad you did.
I love
it. Was great. Oh, yeah, we had a great time.
It's funny, you know, there's so many actors in the cast that it's hard to find, you know, that surprised me that they had never been in a scene together.
Yeah.
So when I wrote the scene, I did have to sort of go back to the beginning and sort of call back to that moment in episode, what was that, episode 103?
103, yeah. Because it was the one that Bellamy was out of the camp, and I took it myself to be the leader. And
you did not do well.
Things went, they went pretty good. Chris, how do you feel about me?
I plead the fifth. No, it's been great. It's been great, Richard. I'm glad we finally got screen time. This is our little year anniversary. Okay.
Season 5 preview.
The 100, it's a soap opera. Different network.
You get bored in space.
Tasia, can you talk about, because Echo, these people do not have a lot of reasons to trust Echo. Clearly, it was a very tense situation, even her joining them. So, I don't know how much you know about what it's going to be like, the 6-year jump, but are you excited to see how things have developed? Because that's so much time that it's just been this small group of people spending together.
Yeah, I actually think about that a lot, like who should become friends with. I was thinking, would she become friends with Louisa? Or would she become friends with, I was thinking she'd be close to Raven for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I feel like these two girls, they're girls that get things done. They're very resourceful. I just see those two like becoming friends and having alliances, whereas Monty, they'd be friends.
6 years is a long time. We'll see people get together, break up, get back together.
Break up.
That's okay.
Get together.
That's the thing. Jason, I don't ask the shipping questions.
Okay.
That's not my deal. But 6 years, just a few people on a rocket. Most of them went in as couples. 3 of them were not part of a couple. How might things have changed?
Like I said, people break up, people get back together, people fool around. I mean, they do have 6 years of time to kill, and there's not a lot to do on space station.
You get bored in space.
That's the end of my comment.
It's lonely in space.
It does get lonely. Raven's really lonely.
Oh.
Raven's so lonely.
And then I have to ask, I asked you this when I spoke to you when the season ended, but, whether it be the bunker or the rocket, is there a baby that's going to be showing up? I know you wouldn't say who it would be from.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Well, no. But Clark has one, sort of. She didn't have to get pregnant, but she has a baby. A child. She has a mom and stuff.
We're going to go to audience questions in a few minutes, but I have some questions from Twitter I'm going to ask. Randy Fox asked, is everyone going to undergo a change in appearance to emphasize the 6-year jump, like how Clark cut her hair and colored part of it? Will there be some eye patches, some robo legs?
It's actually fun because usually we're picking right back up where we left off, except for I think the one season where we found Clark killing panthers and trees. And so they're literally, these guys go off on their hiatus and they do movies or they relax and they do whatever they do and they grow their hair and they cut their hair and they dye their hair. We got to get it back to where it was, at that exact moment. But this season's different, and I've really talked to all of them about, what do they want? Because anything is possible after 6 years, so I'm open to it. Bob and I have been talking.
Yeah, look, I had some kind of crazy ideas last night. We'll go back to
Well, it's funny you say that.
Rises is dialed in already.
Yeah, I'm already set.
You've been pressuring me for some weird hairdo. Do you want to share with them?
No, I don't, but your hair is going to be awesome.
You clearly don't like it.
We've yet to...
I didn't agree to it yet.
I know.
Well, Bob, I also got a specific, because other people asked about the appearance change, but I got a very specific one from @EternalBaby saying, will Bellamy have a beard or a mustache?
Yeah.
I like the idea of a giant mustache.
Barry's back.
That's what you're talking about.
Bring Barry back.
I can't really...
Yes. Right. Bring Barry back.
I'd love to have my mustache, but I can't really grow a beard, so, we're kind of discussing that now and factoring it into the beard budget.
I'll donate my shaved
We don't have a
head
beard
hair so
budget,
you can
Bob.
make a beard wig.
You could have just big sideburns.
I could have big mutton chops.
Oh, yeah.
Element inspired.
Yeah?
Why not?
I approve.
Let's leave that to the fans. What should Bob do with his hair?
Do a poll.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down with a sweet mustache. But, yeah. Sweet stash. Yeah?
We'll put on a close-up of him brushing his mustache.
Yeah, just maxing it. I mean, I'm open to it. How about you, Jason?
To a mustache? Sure.
That's just like we got to 6 years later and Bellamy's just like combing. That's his thing now. It's like, no, I can't hear the radio. I'm busy.
Relaven asked that it seems inevitable that we get flashbacks during the 6-year time jump. Would that be how the season starts? Does it start from right where we left off? Might there be some flashbacks catching us up?
Yeah, there'll be flashbacks for sure. There's a lot of very pivotal, emotional, intense moments that we will have missed in that 6-year period, and I think it's important to see some of them. Not going to spoil the premiere yet, but we will come to understand how all of them became the characters that we will see in the premiere and beyond. So yes, that does include flashbacks.
All right, we're going to start taking some audience questions out in the darkness.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Nice.
That was a super cool.
I wish you could see.
Hi, I'm Jonah. And what I was wondering is that all the characters on the show are so complex, they have a lot of different layers. So I was wondering, what's your favorite attribute or character trait of your character?
So many. No, I don't know. I love Clark's resilience, I guess. And it's something that I like, and there's a lot of selflessness to her, which makes me happy. So, how about you?
I admire Bellamy's resilience to be able to get up every day, even though he's made so many poor choices, and still try and persist and get things done. But the thing that I personally like about him the most is his ability to hold on to guilt. Honestly, it's kind of fun to play in that realm, and everything's so weighted down. So as an actor, I like it when he's in tune with that part of himself. So yeah. It sounds morbid, but it's...
I like how incredibly flawed Octavia is, and she's always brave in the face of fear. I like that about her.
I love Raven's will. I feel like when she puts her mind to something, she is unstoppable, and it's admirable that because I think for me it's like I don't get bogged down, but Raven Reyes never gives up, ever. I love it.
I don't want to steal it because it's kind of similar to it's kind of similar to will or resilience, but I'd say his relentlessness. It's not even like a calculated resilience. It's just this pure, like animalistic will to continue whatever rage he's on.
Cockroaches
and I
never
love
die.
that. Exactly, cockroaches never die.
Never die.
He's like a wild dog, and I love him like that. He is.
Wild dog.
Sexy.
Good dingo.
That's a sexy.
Did you all know that Monty can make alcohol from scratch? He's making moonshine in like 3 weeks down on the ground. I think that's pretty cool.
Is that your favorite characteristic?
Yes.
I think I like Echo's strength and her loyalty the most. She never backs down from a fight. She's always protecting her clan first. And yeah.
Thank you very much. Next question, please.
Hi, I'm AJ. You guys keep giving me heart attacks with like all this near-death stuff. I can't take it. But I hope you guys never die. But if you do, how would you want to go out?
Now you're asking the characters, right?
Oh
yeah. Can someone else jump in this time?
I want to go out the way Raven would go out in space. So.
There you go. We are talking about characters.
Characters.
You personally would like that?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be down with the space thing.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that one.
I want Bellamy to kill him. I think we've come a long way. But I think if there had to be, if I like do like a double turn or something.
Oh right.
And you have to just put me down, and I think that'd be pretty.
It's like
we've come a long way. Like I feel like
kill or
right, yeah. One way or another. I think it would be right. It would be right for one of us to kill the other eventually.
Yeah. I know that. I'd like the Bellamy just have a misstep and fall off the edge of a cliff. Just saying something like he would.
Who's hungry?
I think Octavia would like to just fall off her horse mid-gallop and like get stepped on or something. It would hurt her ego less than to get taken out by somebody else. Yeah.
God, I don't know. I mean, realistically, Clark's would be some sort of grand self-sacrifice, I think. Yeah, well, it's not that funny, but it's true.
You wouldn't go out alone, probably.
No.
Like a genocidal.
Yeah.
Chris, Tasia.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Space.
Okay. That's not. I'd like for Echo to put Monty in a sleeper hold and then accidentally take him out.
On like a whole stage. Like no one's like, that's
I'd change it. Just peacefully in his sleep.
I like your costume, by the way.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Raven.
Hey. Okay, I'm Kat. Hi. So we know that 6 years has passed and Clark is now a mom. But I was just wondering, what type of parenting style does Clark have? And it has been 6 years, so all of you might be surrogate parents. What type of parenting style will your characters have?
Clark's a cool mom.
Yeah, I'm a cool mom.
Cool mom.
Let her get her ears pierced and, yeah, that's like at age 5, we're like, okay, now this is a rifle.
It's a little Sarah
This is how to drive a rover.
It's a little Sarah Connor, Sarah Connor Terminator, like raised her to be
prepared.
Just in case.
Yeah, so.
We did a better job with her than with Charlotte. We were terrible.
We were terrible parents to Charlotte.
You can tell that she's, by that sizzle reel though, that she's telling her some nice stories that also end with, murder and death. So.
Yes,
In the Clark way.
Yeah.
There's no movies. Clark has been telling stories of these guys. These are Maddie's heroes when we start the season. So
she's going to be so let down when she sees us.
Like, you're Bellamy? with that mustache.
Oh, hi, Clark.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Kyla, and my question actually has to do with how the reel was told from a storytelling perspective. I am a myth freak. I love myths because how they explain how something is through a very theatrical yet understanding way and always contain a moral message within it. So my question for the cast is, what myth resonates the most with you or your character?
That's a collective oof. Gosh. Like a Once Upon a Time myth or like a Greek mythology myth?
Anyone who calls you like Prometheus.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Next.
Prometheus.
That's a blank answer, collectively.
What's the myth where they're rolling the rock up the hill and it keeps covering Sisyphus? That's the 100.
Yeah. It's the one where he flew too close to the sun.
What about the train?
It's all ending they could.
Thomas the Train.
No, this is train. Everyone's just quickly naming all the myths that they've heard of. Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty.
Had a great fall.
There we go.
The big bad wolf.
Sorry, that wasn't the best voice.
It was such a beautiful, really nice shout.
Yeah.
What we're trying to say is you're smarter than all of us.
A nice time jump Clark costume, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome.
Thanks very much. Next question.
It's like Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Grace Gordon. I have a question, which is, one of my favorite details from this show is that Mount Weather saved a bunch of art post-apocalypse. And I'm wondering, especially after Prime Fire, what art or literature each of you would save for the next generation after an apocalypse.
You should make audiobooks.
Your audio collection.
That was...
Let's You're just soothed now.
That's all, yeah.
Art. All kinds of art. The Hunter
like
season
what?
5.
Thomas the Train Engine.
Do TV shows count?
The 100.
The Little Mermaid. No, I think literature or art.
I got anything, right?
She said TV shows count.
Oh, cool.
Vincent Van Gogh, Starry Night. It's one of my favorite paintings of all time.
I was gonna say that one.
Rats. Big fan of Oscar Wilde. I like his books. Shakespeare? Shakespeare.
A lot.
He was cool.
All the romantic tragedies. Romeo and Juliet.
If we just saved the internet, then we'd keep all of that.
Way easier, takes up less space. Snapchat. Let's say Snapchat.
But then we have to decide if the internet is a work of art or not.
No, it is.
Okay.
What is art, Eric?
All right. The internet.
No, to seriously answer your question though, if you were watching carefully, there's a Hieronymus Bosch, there's the Garden of Earthly Delights, which was my favorite thing on the entire Mount Weather set. So I would definitely say that. It was only the hell third of the painting though.
No, the whole thing, wasn't it?
There was?
No, I think so.
I only saw the hell.
I think it was one panel.
That's the portion
of the triptych, yeah.
Do you know what else was in there? The dogs sitting around playing cards. I'll take that one.
Eliza, it's in my office, Eliza, if you wanted that.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
That was actually
What's happened
Chewy.
to all that stuff? Where's all that art?
Yeah.
Oh, like some pretty decent
Some of it's
frames.
hanging in Santa Monica.
Oh,
okay.
It's at Jason's house.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No originals.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Rachel. This is for Richard because I've been a huge Murphy fan since season 1, very beginning. I always found him super interesting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So it actually is a little bit of a throwback question to season 1 about the episode where Murphy actually shoots Raven, because I was watching it recently.
Dude, what?
Wait, that episode where he shoots you. So I was watching it recently.
That was you?
And he's kind of antagonizing Bellamy in that scene and mentioning.
Say kind of?
Yeah,
I stand by what I
and before he fires those blind shots underneath, he says something about it being Octavia.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of wondered, in your opinion, was he intentionally shooting with it, like, to kill or hurt, or was he just trying to further antagonize Bellamy?
He definitely wanted to antagonize Bellamy. I don't think he cared if the shot connected or not. I mean, if it did, and you're really asking this just to, these guys aren't gonna like me anymore now. It's just,
But there's another
hung
question.
you, I wanted to kill you, and we know what happened.
Yeah. Well aware.
But yeah, no, I think he was just trying to antagonize Bellamy in his final moments alive, and just make him that much more painful. Because that's the kind of guy I am.
He's a stellar guy.
Yeah. Thank you. Don't you love me?
Stand up guy.
Oh boy.
Hi, I'm Christy.
Hello.
So this is a really serious show, and you guys would totally never do it, but if you did like a musical...
Spoiler!
If you could pick a theme song for your character, what would it be?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Something gangsta. What are you doing?
I was doing the Sanford and Son theme song. I would just take that from Murphy.
What's that?
It matches. Anyone else have a character theme song?
That's such a hard question.
On to the one. Yeah. Come on. I don't know. Man, I don't know.
Alone again.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Hey, I told you guys I'd see you on the other side. So, my name is Toby. I was wondering if you could go back and give yourself on your first day of filming any piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, man. Oof. Don't eat the egg sandwiches.
That's a good one.
It never went well.
Oh, really?
I didn't eat it well.
Morning. First day.
What
can't.
My first day was with Eli down the quarry.
Mine was just with Paige when I was doing it was the opening of the whole thing. I think my advice would be to act better with the green screen. I didn't understand it at all. That was really tricky.
That's the advice you give, just act better.
Act
Just do it. Just discussing. Act better.
It's like a better actor. I couldn't understand where I was supposed to look because it's just this vast green screen. It's like it's down there, and I was like, there. It was just. I felt. It is tricky. It is. Yeah.
I probably would have told him to fight harder on that hairdo and not have it slicked back.
That was a do.
That was a do for sure.
Got the mustache coming up. So.
Exactly. Fight for that mustache you really want, Bob. That's what I would have told him.
Well, I'm still learning every day, so it's hard for me to answer that.
Did you believe me?
Egg sandwiches.
Egg sandwiches. That's it.
I can't follow egg sandwiches. Buckle up, I'm just saying.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, buddy.
Buckle up, Bronco.
Yeah, you're about to stick around for a lot longer than you assume.
Yeah, you were just John 2, right?
Yeah.
No, John 1. You were John 1.
John number
1.
Buy stock in 100.
Interestingly, Richard, your first day, you weren't a series regular. You were, John number 1.
John number 1, yeah.
You didn't even have a last name. And we noticed you right away, like popped out of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all of this. I really like it.
You're welcome. It's fine.
Having a good time.
Tatiana, any first day advice to yourself?
Learn how to spit.
Yeah, would you? That went right in my eye. It burned.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was terrible.
She put a mouthful of blood-flavored chocolate. That's because they try to make it taste good, but it doesn't.
Yeah, they should.
And then she talked the biggest loogie because she kept it in there for a few takes. And then it just kept gathering and gathering, and it was like so enormous. It looked like not like the way it's
You can almost like watch it like floating.
Eye patch next to
The 100 spit reel sounds like it's going to be
Oh, there's probably everyone here.
I got a good one of them.
Yeah, Lindsay got it all over my face.
He liked it.
I didn't even clean it off. Tanya had to force it. After reset you, I'm like, I don't think it shows up.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Hi, my name is Elise. It's kind of funny that you were talking about chocolate because I work at a chocolate shop and I was actually
Prove it.
putting, huh?
Prove it.
I have chocolate with me. I was actually wondering which one of you loves it the most.
Oh, wow.
Chocolate?
Loves chocolate?
I'm allergic.
It will be a conclave to decide. Chocolate.
I still eat it, but I am allergic to chocolate.
Oh, so not like Jeff.
Probably not. It's good though.
I want it. What kind of chocolate? Like what percentage? What's the percentage that's really going to sway my 70? Yeah, I'll take it. I want it. I'll trade you. I have some comic books. Do you want to trade at when this is over? Okay, come on, we'll trade.
The candy Barbary Comic-Con. Thank you. Next question.
All right. I was just wondering, now that the show has kind of come full circle with the original Ark residents being the Grounders, what parallels are we going to see between season 1 and the upcoming season?
That's a really good question. Yeah, one of the things that excited me about this idea of bringing these prisoners into the world was that 5 seasons ago, these guys were the prisoners, and now Clark is the grounder in the woods who's watching these people step out. Very different cast of characters that they're about to have to deal with, but that parallel will continue for sure. We'll play with that quite a lot this season. And they'll realize it, and I think Bellamy's going to have to help Clark come to see that, we have to do things differently now. Because she just wants to protect her child. She just wants to protect her home. So,
Thank you very much. I see
Hang on.
some familiar faces.
We're working on Maddie West.
Yes. Oh.
So our question is, 6 years can be a long time to sit around in a big tin can, whether you're underground or...
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by your child.
She wants to come meet you.
She's coming. You're her. She's the boss. So.
Introducing our newest series.
By the way, this is why we have no babies on the show.
Well, we've got one if you need it.
Right.
She's used to the character look up. What the character look like. So.
Get around. Hi, baby.
The light is like drawing her in it.
Hello.
No problem. We have a running theory that certainly Miller and Jackson are going to get together with some of the Grounders and form a WWE league. So what other kinds of hobbies do you think your characters are going to put together to pass the time, whether you're in space?
Hobbies. Do we get a pick? Jason? Or do
I think that was for you guys. Why don't you pitch some stories?
I think like old habits die hard, and then you just go back to being a janitor and start rooming again. He's just really all about the cleanliness. Yeah, it's going to be spick and span.
Yeah, it's going to be mustache and a
mustache, like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know in the film? Which was it? I Got to Break Free. Where he's there.
And that's also our musical.
Anyway. Whatever.
No.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think I would like Raven for her to learn to fight. You know, you don't really see Raven get to do too much combat, so I think
You will.
Oh. Jason.
Sorry.
So who said that?
I knew it.
You will.
All right then. I'm good.
All right, I think this will be our final question.
Hey guys, I'm Shalise. Yeah, Marie.
You've got the sigils even.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my confirmed here.
You're winning.
Yeah, I won.
You won.
Yes. My question is actually, since you talked about fighting, I was curious how often you get to rehearse before you fight, what the process is to kind of learn the fights, and then, like, I put this on today, and this seems hard to fight in. Like, do you get to wear this?
How did you do that?
Before you actually shot, or was this like step into it and wield the sword kind of thing?
These are very good questions. The cool thing is about sword fighting, to basically put it in a quick nutshell here, is that it's kind of like learning dance. Like you learn a dance routine and that's the way it is, because it's all numbered out and we do it slowly. And I've named all the moves, so I write them down, and when I get home, I was given a wooden sword as a gift, and I just sit in my living room and I practice. So one's called like fillet the salmon, I call another one. It's like silly names, so I remember it, and that's how I memorize my fights. But sometimes you get a ton of time, and sometimes you don't if schedules change and stuff. But you really just, I don't know. I'm really good at a really useless life skill. I'm a good sword fighter now. Yeah.
There's always stunt rehearsal. We have, we find time on days when they're not working or at the end of days when they're not doing the stunts to go over to Marshall Virtue, who's our stunt coordinator and has been since season 1 and is amazing. And he puts them through their paces and they rehearse. Sometimes we don't have time for that. She's right, and then they just make stuff up on the day.
But on the big ones for sure, we do it because look, if safety is always an issue, with the stunt work. So on the big stunt sequences like in Die I'll Die Merrily, each one of those was a little dance. The director, who was me on that one, works with Marshall and says, this is kind of what I'm thinking, I want it to look like this. He goes and rehearses with the stunt guys, shows it to me, videotapes it and shows it to me. I go, I like that, but change that. And then he brings these guys in and they get to learn it. And then I look at it again, I say, yeah, that's exactly what I want, and we show up on the day. Sometimes it's exactly what we rehearsed. Sometimes Marie will say, look, can I do it like this? And so we'll change 1 or 2 little moves. That's basically how it goes.
I just want to see a clip of Marie in her living room, like a total loser.
one. Send it to me.
Thank you very much. Well, guys, we are out of time, but the 100 returns next year, season 5. Thank you, guys.